ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Comedy Corral. I'm Cowboy Ken, your host, alongside my co-host, Mr. Ed, where we attempt to bring you funny filtered
from life's crap.
I have a question for you, Mr. Ed.
What's that, cowboy?
How did you learn how to drive?
My dad was driving me home one day and he pulled the tractor over. He told me to get off. I was 12, I think.
12? I was still pushing Hot Wheel cars across the floor at 12.
Yeah, he told me I was going to drive, but I didn't want to.
12? Holy crap. I couldn't even see over the steering wheel at age 12. Dang, my parents never let me do anything.
You don't see over the steering wheel, you look through it.
Okay, we're getting off track.
Don't you mean we're getting off tractor?
Darn tractor.
Who's shucking this corn? You gonna let me tell the story or not?
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, I started driving and I swerved into the other lane. So I swerved to get back on my side of the road and ran off the road on the other side.
Sounds a lot like my first wreck.
Dude, spoiler alert, shut up.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
When I swerved the second time, I lost control of the tractor, ended up rolling it 3 times. As we were both thrown from the tractor, I looked over at my dad and said, I told you I don't want to drive.
Wait a minute. Isn't the top speed of a tractor like 20 miles per hour? How in the farm do you roll a tractor 3 times at 20 miles per hour? Wow. Were either of you hurt?
No, not really. Just a few bumps and bruises. I had some vegetables located in places they shouldn't be.
You care to elaborate on that last thing you said?
What thing?
About the vegetables.
Oh, vegetables aren't in season right now.
Ed, you are avoiding answering the question that I asked.
No, I'm not. I don't remember the question.
Now who has a tumor?
You.
Ed?
Cowboy.
All right, Ed. You win.
What did I win?
The right to shut up.
I may have the right, but I don't have the ability.
Anyway, I did the same exact thing, except I didn't roll my vehicle. I hit a 1.5-ton construction truck head on, and there were no vegetables involved.
Dude, why aren't you dead?
That's a good question. I have been poisonous snake bit twice. I've been shot twice. I've been stabbed 6 times, blown up 3 times.
Are you in a gang or something?
No, I'm not in any gang. Why would you think I'm in a gang?
I don't know. Cowboy? Outlaw?
I am not an outlaw. I'm actually a good guy.
The evidence doesn't support that theory thus far.
The evidence doesn't support that theory. Who do you think you are? I just had a few accidents in my life.
A few accidents. There are hospital wings named after you.
Ed, you are not in any position to lecture me about my life.
I'm not. I'm still trying to figure out why you're not dead.
It's just not my time yet.
Are you a cat?
No, but you're about to be in the doghouse.
How? I don't have a dog.
Oh, good grief. Just get back to the story.
That sounds like a show all by itself. Or a book. Were you hurt?
I had whiplash, but my car was total.
What kind of car were you in?
A 1974 Maverick.
Man, you sound like you were proud of that Maverick. Heck, I don't even know what that is.
That's right. You don't, dude. Back in the day, that was cool for being broke.
It doesn't sound cool.
What would you know about cool, Ed?
I fixed my air conditioning one time. Does that count?
No, Ed, that doesn't count.
Why not? It made my home cool again.
Okay, moving on. I guess in an effort to save my life, my dad took my driver's license away for a year.
Darn, cowboy. That's harsh.
Yeah, A little bit, but it didn't slow me down none. I got into mopeds and went anywhere I wanted.
Didn't slow you down none. That's funny.
Why is that funny?
Man, I could run faster than that moped.
Oh, shut up. That's because you're running from that crazy crop duster.
Yeah, I am.
Speaking of mopeds, funny story.
Dude, there's nothing funny about a moped.
Man, back in the day, a moped was a motorized bicycle with pedals.
Yeah, well, back in the day, dinosaurs roamed the earth, and you see where it got them.
Good grief, Ed. Now who is glass half empty?
That's not glass half empty. It's the truth. Half of our audience has never seen a moped before. Nowadays, they call them scooters. No pedals.
Back when I was a teenager, I worked for a printing company, and one of my duties was to deliver the printed materials to the client. This company had an old yellow Dodge van with a big steering wheel and a snub-nosed front.
Wait a minute. I didn't think they had cars yet.
What? What do you mean didn't have cars yet?
You know, when you were a teenager,
Ha ha, very funny, Ed.
I just figured since you don't have a horse, maybe you rode a dinosaur.
How would you like to be extinct?
I don't stink.
Anyway, on a normal delivery run, the boxes usually were never stacked above the seat backs of the driver and passenger seats.
Why not?
I'm getting there.
Well, get there faster. Or is the van a moped?
Ed, would you stop? I'm trying to.
Bore me? Good job.
As I was saying, on this particular delivery, one day the boxes were stacked above the seat backs. I was driving on a 2-lane highway when a little old lady pulled out in front of me.
How tall was she?
I don't know, Ed. I didn't measure her. She never got out of the car.
Then how'd you know she was little?
I don't know, Ed. Little old lady is a figure of speech.
How did your speech have a figure? Did you have bad breath?
Oh my God, Ed. I'm going to continue speaking now.
I figured you would.
When the lady pulled out in front of me, I immediately slammed on the brakes.
Wrong.
What do you mean wrong?
Even I know you don't slam on the brakes.
That's because your tractor doesn't even have brakes.
True story.
So when I hit the brakes, the boxes that were stacked above the seat backs came forward and pushed my head into the steering wheel.
Oh no. Did you hit her?
Hit who?
The little old lady.
No, I did not hit her. But when my head got stuck in the steering wheel, I jerked and the van turned right.
Why did you jerk?
Because I had 3 80-pound boxes pinning my head into the steering wheel at 60 miles per hour.
What was the speed limit?
I don't remember, Ed. Besides, that's not important.
Yes, it is. If you go too fast, you get a ticket. And as it turns out, in my case, if you go too slow, you get a ticket.
You give a whole new meaning to the term ticket to ride.
What does that mean? Wait, is the fair in town?
That's it. I'm not talking to you.
You kind of are.
Ugh!
Is that English?
Ed, you are going to drive me to drinking.
Ticket.
What?
If you drink and drive, you get a ticket.
Oh, dear Lord, please help me. When I jerked, the van turned right and went around the lady in the car, then turned left, crossing the road behind the lady in the car and going through a ditch into the people's yard on the corner.
Who were they?
Who were who?
The people on the corner?
Ed, I didn't have the pleasure of meeting them. I had my head stuck in a steering wheel.
How do you know it would have been pleasurable? I wouldn't be happy if you drove through my yard.
Your yard is a cornfield.
Exactly. Which means your joyride would have cost me thousands.
Joyride! Joy! When I hit the ditch, the van turned left again and went across the highway in front of oncoming traffic. which happened to be a semi-truck driver.
Did the truck hit you?
No, Ed, he slammed on his brakes and began jackknifing, while I ran off the road into the woods hitting a tree.
Why did the truck driver have a knife, and why did he call it Jack?
No, Ed. Jackknife is the term used by truck drivers when their trailer slides all the way around 90 degrees to their truck.
That's not what I would call it.
Well, that is what it's called. Anyway, the trucker's trailer slid all the way around until it was side by side with the little old lady's car, without hitting her. The trucker gets out and checks on the lady, then tells her that he is going to check on the guy in the yellow van, that he would be right back.
Who's in the yellow van? I must have slept through that part of the story.
Really, Ed? I'm in the yellow van.
Oh,
The trucker makes his way to me and rescues me from my cardboard coffin. And we make our way back to the little old lady.
are you being cremated when you die?
What? Why would you ask that? I haven't really thought about it.
They use cardboard coffins when you're cremated. Think about it.
Okay, I'm done talking to you.
Bet you're not.
While the trucker and myself were standing there, talking to the lady, suddenly we heard a loud bang.
What was it?
A kid on a moped was looking at the daughter standing in the yard with her parents watching the commotion and ran into the trucker's trailer.
Ouch, I bet that hurt.
Knocked himself completely out. The trucker took his hat off, said a few choice words, then said, "Let me go check on this idiot."
What were the few choice words?
Ed, I am not going to repeat what he said on this show.
Well, if it's a secret, just whisper it in my ear.
Absolutely not.
You're no fun.
Anyway, I took driver's education in high school. Did you?
Wait a minute. I go to school for education. Now I have to go to school again for driver's education?
No, Ed. Driver's ed is extracurricular.
How do I drive a curricular?
You don't drive extracurricular, you take extracurricular.
Now you got me stealing again.
What are you doing?
I'm thinking about when I ran off the road with the tractor and hit the irrigation pipe that rode the tractor 3 times and threw me and my dad into the crops.
Would you stop?
Can't.
Why not?
No brakes. Just got to let off and the gas and let it coast on through.
Well, speaking of no brakes.
Oh, you know that one too, huh?
What? No, I'm talking about when I was teaching my daughter how to drive and we had no brakes.
Oh, sorry, man. I took a detour.
You are a detour, Ed.
Finish your boring story.
Anyway, what I was trying to say is that when you have kids, at some point they will want to learn how to drive. And I don't recommend age 12.
Hey, I turned out all right.
Dude, I've seen your tractor.
Oh, crap. That was old.
What I have gleaned from my years of experience is that kids...
What in the corn husk does glean mean?
It means learned.
And why don't you just say learn then? You use all these fancy words.
Gleaned is not fancy, and it's called a vocabulary. Maybe you should invest in a thesaurus.
What did you call me?
I didn't call you anything.
What the heck is a thesaurus then?
Wow, you skipped a lot of school, didn't you?
No, not really.
Okay. A thesaurus is like a dictionary, except instead of giving you definitions, it gives you synonyms. Oh my God. You don't know what a synonym is, do you?
Yeah, I do.
What is it then?
You talk better than I do, you say.
Okay. Since this generation likes to Google everything, I will give you the Google description of the word. A synonym is a word or phrase that means exactly or nearly the same as another word or phrase in the same language.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm. You probably thought it was a straw stick. That's why you look so confused.
I did not. But why would you need to use a thesaurus thing anyway?
Really? Several professions use it to eliminate those fancy words you're speaking of.
Like who? Give me an example.
Preachers, scientists, doctors, authors, to name a few.
Oh, I think I see where that could be useful.
Really? Then give me a synonym for word.
Okay, is it talk?
Are you asking me or telling me?
What's the difference?
One is a question, the other is an answer. Oh, why do I bother?
Telling.
What?
I'm telling you.
Better late than never, I guess. They have already forgot the question.
Don't feel so bad. I have too.
Moving on. Do you know what an EMP is?
Assume I don't.
That's what I thought. EMP stands for electromagnetic pulse.
Okay, so
Are you a fan of science at all?
yes.
That's what I thought. In February of 2018, SpaceX launched a rocket called the Falcon 9 Heavy into space and deployed a Tesla into outer space on a mission to Mars.
Tesla, isn't that a group?
Yes, it is, but it's also a car.
What kind of idiot would launch a car to Mars?
A genius one by the name of Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. Sounds like a bad clone.
Stay focused. The launching of the car was just one phase of the mission, but in my opinion, not the most impressive part.
This should be good. So what impressed you, cowboy?
The rocket.
Why is that?
Because two of the rocket boosters were able to land back at Kennedy Space Center from where they were launched. And the main booster was able to land on a ship in the ocean, which is a moving target.
Why is that impressive?
Because in the past, the boosters just splashed down into the ocean and were lost forever. But with this test, it proved that by landing the boosters, that they could be reused for another launch.
So,
Do you have any idea how much it costs to launch a rocket of this magnitude?
no.
I don't either, exactly. But let's just say it's a two-digit number with a lot of zeros behind it.
It's the government. They got the money for stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah,
Where do you think the government gets their money from?
they print it, duh.
You're half right.
What?
Have you ever had a job? Did you get check stubs?
Yeah, why?
Have you ever looked at your check stubs closely?
No, why?
Ever noticed that deduction called FICA?
Not really.
Well, that is the federal government, and they take 34% of your income each and every week.
What? Oh, heck no. I didn't give them permission to do that.
Unfortunately, the government doesn't need permission. But multiply your percentage times 500 million people in the workforce in this country, and that is where they get the money to back up the money that they print.
That's not right.
I didn't say it was, but that is how this country works.
I'm starting to question my entire work history.
Sorry to burst your economic bubble, but that's the way it is.
Okay, well, it shouldn't be.
Well, then run for public office. Maybe you can be the guy in 30 years from now that can fix things. Oh, wait. You're probably not qualified because you don't know what a synonym is.
That's not right, man. But here's a question for you.
What's that?
What in the heck does any of this have to do with an EMP?
Nothing. That's the beauty of this show.
Well, inquiring minds want to know, so fill me in.
Check you out with the vocabulary word, inquiring minds. There's hope for you yet.
There isn't going to be for you if you don't shut up and get to the point.
Cranky you are.
You haven't seen Cranky yet.
Oh, really?
Please, I'm curious.
Okay, alright, just messing around. If you know anything about electronics, you know that electromagnetic pulse, or EMP, would disrupt anything that is electronic, which in today's society is virtually everything.
Yeah, okay.
The advancement of technology is producing cars with driving assist technology that I believe in about a decade or so will produce complete self-driving cars.
I can believe that. So,
Meanwhile, there is a Tesla out there in Earth's orbit on its way to Mars.
so,
Well, what goes up must come down. And I believe that eventually, 30, 40, 50 years from now, that Earth's gravitational pull will begin to slowly cause the Tesla to get closer and closer to Earth's atmosphere.
and then what?
Well, I'll be dead by then, but let's say you're in your golden years driving around in your self-driving Bentley.
Why would I be driving a Bentley?
Because you can. You're Rich from the Comedy Corral Show.
Okay, I like the sound of that. Go on.
So you're cruising to downtown Los Angeles in your Bentley when all of a sudden there's a huge explosion and everything electronic stops working instantly. And there are hundreds of cars and plane crashes simultaneously and nothing works.
What happened? Why?
That Tesla crash landed back on Earth and sent one portion of the country back to the Stone Age because of an electromagnetic pulse explosion created by the crashing of the Tesla.
Darn Tesla.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages,
What are you doing?
introducing the Manure Minute.
No, you're not. You're being the host of the Big Top.
No, I'm not.
If an elephant walks out, I'm leaving.
There is no elephant. So, what do we have this week?
Well, Cowboy Ron of Arkansas says he loves the content of the trailers, but can't wait for the full episodes.
Well, Ron, that makes three of us. Keep watching the Comedy Corral YouTube channel, and on April 1st of 2023, the first full episode will air.
And Ron, you have won yourself a free Comedy Corral t-shirt. Ladies and gentlemen, you too could win a t-shirt by sending a comment or question to cowboykenproductions@gmail.com.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode of the Comedy Corral. And remember, when life gets crappy, find the funny.
Be happy.